We love you, Ye, but come on, man. Seriously, did you see this interview tonight with Tucker and Ye? Kanye West? And aren't you getting tired of these celebrities going on TV to apologize, cry? They claim they see the light. Well, he didn't apologize or cry, but he was damn well near it. But this is the worst, the absolute worst. When they change their name because they're trying to be hip, trying to be cool. Kanye, I mean Ye. But he just let it rip. He let it rip, let it all out. And this was so sad. This was really, really sad. Because he's finally realizing you don't have to be like these people in Hollywood, Chicago, New York, San Francisco, LA, or these people, these shallow people at the Paris Fashion Week who made a big stink because he unveiled this White Lives Matter t-shirt. Big deal. Candace Owens was there, sporting the shirt. She was wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. He was wearing a black one. It's got a picture of Pope John Paul II on the front. But now they're claiming the shirt, the phrase is racist. It's related to the KKK, white supremacy. I didn't know that Pope John Paul II, who's on the front of the shirt, I didn't know that Pope John Paul II was a racist, a white supremacist. But who wants to be a part of this crowd anyways? This is what I don't understand. Now, Jason Whitlock was on the tail end of Tucker's show tonight, giving his analysis of the first half of this interview, because there's a second half planned for tomorrow night. And he said he saw a man who was struggling between his faith, fame, family, dealing with these people in Hollywood or these enclaves in New York, Chicago, San Francisco, LA. But just to go to show you the bias here, and you know the bias exists out there. Come on, you know these people. The shallowest people on the planet. So there's this article at the oldest, grayest lady on the planet, the New York Times, who you could take 90% of their articles, cut it down to size, and just get the meat of what you need. So this is by Vanessa Friedman. This came out on the 4th. It says, there is no excuse for Ye's White Lives Matter shirt. Well, I've got one thing to say to Miss Friedman. All you cats in Hollywood, New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Paris Fashion Week, screw you. Screw you people. Who are you to tell me, or let's say somebody like Kanye West, Ye, what we should wear, who we should hang out with, what we should listen to, what's cool, what's not? To hell with you people. I determine what's cool. I'll wear what I want. I'll say what I want. And I'll associate with whoever I want. Whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, well, you can stick it where the sun don't shine. There is no excuse for Ye's White Lives Matter shirt. Like, Miss Friedman is the final say and authority on fashion. These people wouldn't know good fashion if it struck them in the you-know-what. So I'm going to read just a part of the article for you. In fact, this is where I would have started the article. And you know the New York Times, they've got to be wordy, 7,000 words, and that's an article. They just can't put it down to 500, maybe 1,000. So this is where I would have started the article. It was as good a reflection as any this week of just how the culture and power structure of fashion and entertainment has changed in the past decade. Because it was 11 years ago, in early October 2011, that Ye held his first fashion show in Paris. The line at that time was called Kanye West, heavy on the luxury frills, leather and fur and golden hardware, It was widely dismissed by its audience. But this time there were the powers that be of the industry jumping at the last minute to see what Ye had to deliver, which involved a live choir featuring a host of children from Ye's new Dante Academy in California, his daughter, North, and began with his rambling speech about critics who complained about his shows being late. Featured his former manager, Scooter Braun, etc., etc., the granddaughter of Bob Marley. Quote, because we changed the look of fashion over the past 10 years, we are the streets, we are the culture, he said. When it comes to the culture, I am Ye, and everybody knows I am the leader. Except this leader was wearing an oversized shirt with a photo of Pope John Paul II and the words, it's in Italian here, I can't pronounce it, but it says in parentheses, we will follow your example on the front and White Lives Matter on the back, a phrase that the Anti-Defamation League has called hate speech and attributed to white supremacists, including the Ku Klux Klan. Well, who the hell is the Anti-Defamation League to determine what phrases are hate speech and which phrases aren't? We live in a free country. That's the beauty of the United States. Freedom of speech. Whole purpose of the First Amendment is to protect impolite speech. Ye, Kanye, began using this in 2015 in response to the Black Lives Matter movement. And just saying that Black Lives Matter isn't racist? Taking whites out of the picture, what about Hispanics? What about Asians? What about people from India or the Middle East? People from Egypt? Only Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter, and yet David Dorn, a black police officer in St. Louis, was killed by a black protester who was protesting in the name of Black Lives. The shirt was impossible to miss because as he spoke, Ye's image was projected behind him on a wall 4 stories high. And they've got this picture here of Candace Owens and Ye wearing these White Lives Matter t-shirts. Besides Candace Owens, the conservative commentator was in the audience and wearing one too. Later, the shirt appeared as part of the collection modeled by Selah Marley, daughter of Lauryn Hill and granddaughter of Bob Marley. It was the only message garment in the line, which was called SZN9 in reference to the Yeezy shows that had come before, created in conjunction with Shane Oliver, the former designer of Hood by Air, and this is in parentheses, Ye is nothing if not a great spotter and cultivator of talent, which made it stand out even more in a show otherwise focused on garments that could simply be pulled onto the body, with no hardware, buttons or zips or snaps. An idea that Ye first began talking about in the context of his work with Gap. It has potential, but the import got swamped by the shirt, what it symbolized, and how it is an endorsement of figures such as Ye, even one with a track record of wearing MAGA hats and toying with Confederate imagery, could be used as a rallying cry by those who already buy its message. So they don't confirm here that wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter creates white supremacy or racial bias, but that it could create, you see the language here? It could create an environment of white supremacy or racial bias, but no evidence that it does or that it has. I mean, seriously, did the Confederate flag come off of its flagpole and go attack somebody? No. It was people who went and attacked other people, including white people, by the way, in the name of the Ku Klux Klan. And I talked about this before. I just love this comparison of the Confederate battle flag to the Nazi flag, when the truth is that one of the reasons they chose the design wasn't just because of the Scotch-Irish origins or the belief in Christianity with the St. Andrew's cross, but they didn't want to offend Jews. But somehow the Confederate battle flag, its design, is equivalent to the Nazi flag. And how many people who were white died under the Hitler regime on top of the Jews and these other minority groups like the Romanian Gypsies? Now, Gabriella Carifa Johnson called this indefensible behavior, Vogue editor, on Instagram, later adding, quote, "There is no excuse, there is no art here." Like these people are the final say on art. Have you seen some of the stuff they promote? Jaden Smith in the audience walked out. So did Lynette Nylander, the Dazed writer and editor. The next day at the Chanel show, Edward Enninful, the editor of British Vogue and the most powerful black man in fashion media, called the shirt, quote, "inappropriate and insensitive given the state of the world." Well, how is this inappropriate? How is this insensitive? And what exactly is the state of the world, Mr. Enninful? You ask these people these questions, they can't answer it. Well, we just think that it's racist because we just think it's racist. We just don't like that phrase, white lives matter, because, you white people, you're so evil, you're so bad. You're the main cause of slavery, even though, if you go back to the supply chain, see this interview with Don Lemon and this British representative of the royal family, who said that you have to go back to Africa because that's where the supply chain started. Trust me, if you're white back in the day, you did not just charge into some African country and grab slaves. You would have been killed with an arrow on the spot, attacked by these tribes immediately, because you're on their turf. Miss Nylander has posted, quote, "It doesn't matter what the intention was, its perception to the masses is out of context." Doesn't matter what the intention was, but its perception to the masses is out of context. How do you know that, Miss Nylander? You don't. See, they make all these assumptions. They don't go back and check the history. They just assume because somebody told them, because they read it somewhere in a book, maybe they were in school. Yet you and me, whether we're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, we have to pay to play to go to the Paris Fashion Week or to be a member of Hollywood. As to why he did it backstage, Ye declined to provide any theoretical framework. Quote, "It says it all," he said, of the shirt, but what exactly does it say? That he truly believes he can appropriate the language of racial violence with irony? That someday the power structure of black and white will be reversed? And since he says this collection is the future, that this is the world he envisions? That Ye gets a kick out of pushing everyone's buttons? That he wants to see how far he can go and doesn't really care about or think about the collateral damage in the meantime? What collateral damage? Who is this harming? How many people have actually been harmed by the phrase white lives matter? Has it caused you people in the minority communities out there to go bankrupt? Have you lost your home? Have you been attacked because somebody used the phrase white lives matter? Probably not. No, you're just trying to tell people what they can or can't say because you want to rule the roost. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, at the root of all this is jealousy. Even these people with money, they're jealous. They're jealous and envious of what other people have. When you strip it all away, that's what it boils down to. These people are jealous and envious of what other people have. They have screwed up their lives. Just because you look good on camera and you smile everywhere you go doesn't mean your life is in order. Okay? Let's just be honest here. Or is it that he said in his speech, quote, "You can't manage me. This is an unmanageable situation"? Was he talking about racism there? So go check this article out at the oldest, grayest lady on the planet, the New York Times. No excuse for Ye's White Lives Matter t-shirt. Story by Vanessa Friedman. But these are people who live in these exclusive communities, who hobnob in these exclusive clubs that you and I don't get invited to. and somehow we're the racist. We're the ones who are discriminatory. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. You can also follow me on Instagram, #JasonComposes, or find me at Twitter, Cultural Confederacy at Twitter. This is the Cultural Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this great country, and I'll catch you next time.